This is a documentary written, produced, filmed by a special guest that we have here today, whom we've had the honor of meeting just this week. We were at the rally on, I don't know when it was now, even Wednesday. Yeah, it's been so many days. Actually, he had the audacity to show up with a yellow star on his chest, because this is something that is near and dear to his heart. That shows. I was thinking when Pastor Curtis was talking about that we need to be crying out to God. Sometimes that's through film. That's through, it's different ways of how we cry out. That's at least how I see what you're doing as a form of crying out. And I know you can explain some more, but I'd like to introduce Larry Capetto.
Thank you. Wow. What an honor to be here. You know, Pastor Curtis, for years, I drive down this road. What is this? It looked like a shamrock symbol. I couldn't figure out, I couldn't even pronounce it. And years, and I'm here today. I'm here today. And it's because of a rally that I attended Wednesday where I met a lot of your family. And I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but Pastor, you are on fire. And you have touched my heart. And those that I've met from his family, Andrea, Wendy, Matt, some of the others, I'm humbled to be here today. I really don't know what, I like to talk, but I really don't know what I'm going to say. This is going to be very short. But when I see signs like pray to end abortion at a rally, and I hear people talk from their hearts about the unborn and to cry out for the unborn. And what I heard Wednesday was the cry of God. I believe this yellow star, I wear this because of the significance of how people in today's society are being marked. I went back to my home office where I do all my editing after Wednesday's rally, after we talked. And I pulled out the individual clips where the survivors were talking about the yellow star. And boy, does this sound familiar. One gentleman says, we were marked. They were school-aged kids at the time. We were marked. We went to school, and the SS showed up and said, there's no school today. You go home. Does that sound familiar? No school? Because I'm a Jew and I got a yellow star? He said, we couldn't go to the parks. We couldn't go to the restaurants. We couldn't go to the movie theaters. We were marked. This is really an outward marking of what's already inside. Let's mark ourselves today and be different, like Pastor Matt said. Let's be different. There's got to be a difference. I'm not saying we all need to go out and put on a yellow star, but God told me to do this, and I did it Wednesday. But I'm a documentary filmmaker. I've been in Grand Junction most of my life. I tell stories. I'm interested in real stories. I don't have the luxury of entertaining people like Hollywood. And for the last 20 years, I've documented 1,000 stories from veterans that have served our country. I serve my God and my country through the lens of my camera. And I love hearing true stories. And so I've interviewed World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, Gulf War, Iraq, Afghanistan. How many of you in this room have somebody in your family or know somebody that's served in the military? Raise your hand. Look at that. I go into schools, I ask that question, almost everybody raises their hand, so this affects all of us. I will be darned if the blood that our veterans fought for, the freedoms that they fought for, are going to be stolen away from a sleeping giant in our society. That's not going to happen. I never thought I'd see the day where I'm going to fight for my freedoms in my own country, because as Abraham Lincoln said, a tyrant will arise within to take over our political system. That was prophetic 150 years ago. Like we heard the other day, there's always been tyrants. Tyranny. I love David and Goliath. I love how that young kid with his sling, he slung it, he smote the giant, it sunk into his forehead, he fell to the ground, he took the sword off, cut off his head, and he slew him. I'm writing a kid's song called Sling, Slang, Smote, Sunk, Slew with a sword. I'm writing it. But anyways, that's about all I'm going to say. But freedom is not free. People have bought and paid for the freedoms we have. My father served during Korea. My uncle was in World War II. My mother's now buried at our veteran cemetery. My father's buried in California. He died when I was 10, but he was a Korean War veteran. But so anybody that has served this country, God bless you. Serving this country, God bless you. A first responder, God bless you. All of us are called to serve. And Pastor, I love what you said. I am contagious. No mask, no shots, no amount of distance between me and you is going to keep me from spreading out onto you. Because as you said, we're spreaders of God's word and God's love. And I love that. That will stick forever. I was in Texas years ago with my work, and I met a Jewish rabbi, and this also stuck. You'll like this. He said, Larry, you're a church without walls. Think about that. We all should be churches without walls, because it's the people. And I you don't have a second chance to make a first impression. Today's been a good impression, so thank you for that. But are we going to show that video? Okay, this is something that Pastor Wendy wants to show. This is the rally from Wednesday. If you weren't there, you can see this. And then I guess we'll be done. But thank you for your attention, and God bless you.